You know what they say, pay cheap, pay twice. So it's one thing, it's learning how to the appropriate use cases for AI. Can AI summarize documents? Yeah, great. Absolutely. Can AI make better sense of data? Yes, absolutely. Should we be using AI to write content? No. Should we be using AI to produce research from AI outputs as the basis for our content? Most definitely not.
Are you a scaling SaaS founder? Ready to make the leap from leading a team to leading an organization? Join us each week as we refill your think tank with actionable tips and strategies from great business minds you know and those who don't know yet. This is SaaS Fuel with your host, 5-time entrepreneur, SaaS founder, and globetrotting adventurer, Jeff Maines.
Welcome back to the SaaS Fuel podcast, where AI lets you send 1,000 messages, but real growth comes from the one that hits home. I'm your host, Jeff Maines. I help B2B SaaS founders like you grow from traction to scale. Here, growth is more than just numbers. It's about crafting a future-proof company, premium valuation, and leaders who build a business of significance while living epic, adventurous lives. Have you noticed that SEO rankings can be stalling even when you're doing everything right? This new world of AI has turned the whole idea of SEO on its head. In this episode, we'll dig into the uncomfortable truth that traditional SEO is losing its edge. Chasing keywords and trying to game algorithms doesn't cut it anymore. But what is working now? Smarter strategy, clearer intent, and content that's actually worth reading. Today, we're going to explore how AI is reshaping the marketing playbook from automating repetitive tasks to unlocking deeper insights about what your buyers really want. You'll hear why high effort content consistently wins, how to align your strategy with buyer intent instead of vanity metrics, and how to build pieces that actually spark discussion, not just page views. Evolving your strategy takes more than tools, it takes mindset. We'll unpack the cultural friction that often holds teams back, especially in mid market organizations where legacy thinking still rules the day. If you're ready to rethink your approach to content, cut through the clutter, and build marketing that actually moves the needle, this episode gives you the roadmap. Let's dive in. Our expert guest last Thursday was Pete Steggy. Pete broke down the power of radical clarity, a practice for identifying your bullseye customer, refining unique value, and crafting messaging that moves markets. Whether it's better delegation, sharper positioning, or cutting through the complexity, Pete's frameworks turn chaos into traction. And our founder last week was Sri Ganesan, co founder of Rocket Lane. Sri flipped the script on customer onboarding. He reframed it as a second sale. Absolutely brilliant. It's not just a handoff, but he also showed how AI agents, trust building workflows, and precise team alignment can accelerate time to value and create raving fan customers from day one. If you missed either episode, go back and check them out. Great stuff there. My guest today is Andreas Voniatis, or Dre as a lot of people know him, founder of Atheos and the architect behind AI-powered, data-driven SEO that delivers serious ROI. When traditional tactics fail to keep up, Dre pivoted to Python, data science, and machine learning, and he hasn't looked back. His proprietary system, the Atheos technology, uses AI to mine customer conversations and create content strategies that truly resonate, like in their own voice. Amazing stuff. He's the author of Data-Driven SEO with Python and been featured in Search Engine Watch. Dre doesn't just optimize for traffic, he engineers for impact. If you're still playing the keyword game, this episode will open your eyes to what's next in search. Welcome, Andreas Voniatis. Hey, Andreas, welcome to SaaS Fuel.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with a big pivot. You were crushing it in SEO. What made you realize that you had to relearn everything through data science?
I found about 13 years ago that as a practitioner, I was becoming quite uncompetitive in terms of the results I was delivering for my clients. And I actually wanted to change career. So I decided to retrain as a data scientist. But it had the accidental side effect of helping me see search engines and life in a completely different way. I felt like by learning data science, I had a bit of a Neo moment where you suddenly see the world in the ribbons of green data flying all over the place. And
Right.
so
That's
that was it for
fascinating.
me, and then it reignited my passion for online marketing and search, and here I am still today.
That's awesome. What is Artios and how does your proprietary AI model work differently from traditional SEO or even content agencies?
Yeah, so Atheos is about being data science driven organic marketing. So it's not just about search, it encompasses anything that's organic or science driven word of mouth. So that could be via your content marketing, via search, via cold outreach. It's whatever gets our clients, businesses in front of their target buyers.
Like that. And that's what we all want is we want our brand in front of people and get that exposure. So it's not just people in funnel or people that we've cookied. You're actually getting some pretty significant non-brand traffic out there. Is it cold audience? Is it warm? How do you do that to get the traffic in and then guarantee ROI?
So it's a mixture because anybody, if we're talking about non-brand traffic, then these audiences are quite cold to come to start off with. But it's not just about non-brand traffic; it's also about brand traffic. So if your content is being featured in AI results, whether it's Google Gemini or ChatGPT, then if people are looking for information, then they're going to see that your brand is being recommended either as the data source or you're being overtly recommended if you're searching for best ransomware recovery partner, for example. And so that's where the brandness comes into play. And what we're finding now is that SEO clicks were like empty calories. You get a lot of clicks, but maybe not a lot of intent. I think now what we're going to see is that SEO clicks are going to be a lot more higher value, but a lot lower volume of them. Because by the time someone clicks through to your website, they've probably done a lot of their research already and they probably already know of your brand before they click through.
I like that. Knowing the brand before you click through is it certainly delivers a much warmer lead. And I like the high intent traffic as well because you're right, SEO can really be hit or miss depending on what you're optimizing for and even just keyword searching. Some things pull a lot of traffic that is not really relevant, although the keyword is relevant. What they're looking for, the intent's not there.
Yeah, and this is what I love about AI marketing, is that if you're going to master the AI game, which will mean that you master the search game or the SEO game, you have to go beyond keywords because keywords don't tell you who is searching, right? A keyword could be a student, your grandmother, or your father in law, or your target buyer, or a colleague. Whereas to master the AI search game, you need to be producing content that is targeted towards your target buyer. Okay, so the traditional SEO playbook of producing guides like what is ransomware recovery is simply not going to work anymore. Chances are your target buyer already knows what ransomware recovery is. They're probably a CTO, for example. So they don't need patronizing SEO articles on what is ransomware recovery. What they do need, however, is an article that helps them learn from other CTOs that have undergone a similar experience of trying to protect their company from ransomware attacks. Or they've been through a ransomware attack and they want to know how they overcame that challenge. And that is the content that's going to help a company succeed in the AI search age today. And if you succeed there, you're going to succeed in SEO anyway.
That makes a lot of sense because it really is thinking, it's reverse engineering. What are they thinking about? And what is it that they're really looking for? It's maybe the next level of intent.
Yes.
And then making sure that you're there and positioning for that. So you are the answer.
Yes, exactly. And the way we help clients work out what their target buyers want is we're data mining the internet on a daily basis. And then we're subsetting what we data mine according to the target buyer profile. or ICP in shop speak. And then with the ideal customer profile, we're looking at what it is they're talking about. And from there, we can build a data-driven topic map to help clients produce the content that their target buyers are actively discussing online, rather than some keyword data from SEMrush, for example,
Right.
which is based on which the data exists for the purpose of maximizing the revenue per click of Google. It does not exist for marketers. It exists for advertisers.
Right. What, you mean Google isn't trying to help us?
Yeah,
Trying to help us spend
thorough.
money, maybe.
But believe it or not,
That's funny. What are maybe some early mistakes or mental models that you had to break in moving from service-based SEO to AI-driven marketing strategy?
there's a lot of things to unlearn. So I think one of the things to unlearn is to certainly to go from SEO to AI is to first of all not be so keyword driven. Okay. So if you're using a content strategy that is based on SEMrush numbers or Google Ads numbers, then you're not going to get a lot of performance from your efforts, okay? Because it costs resources to hire a writer to do research. And the other thing is if you're if you're promoting content on the basis of these generic SEO play best ultimate guides, that's also not going to work because nobody wants to talk about it on social media. So you got to produce
Right.
content that has value beyond search. It's not good enough to produce content just for SEO. It's got to be the kind of content that will provoke conversation or engagement on social media. It's got to be the kind of content where you would find it good enough to make video short reels for YouTube or TikTok and other channels. And it's got to tell the world something it didn't know before, because marketers are producing content after content. New content on the web is being published probably every second as we speak. But
Right.
ask yourself this question: how much of that content is telling the world something it didn't know before?
Very little.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But when you do tell the world something it didn't know before, it's immediately obvious statistically to a search engine or to AI. And that's why when you do that, it becomes you get instant visibility or near instant visibility. So this myth of SEO takes a long time, it doesn't. You're just doing it wrong.
I love that. I love busting myths like that and hearing that. Why is it that people believe that SEO takes a long time? It's not something that they can do quickly or get attention on their brand, and they have to wait months to do that.
So the reason why it takes a long time for those SEOs is because they're following best practices. But the
Mm,
problem is those best practices are well known. So if you're following the rules and the leader is following the rules, and they're very likely to follow the rules, because as you get bigger, you've got more to lose. Therefore, you're more afraid of making mistakes rather than doing something a bit more progressive. Okay. So if you're following the rules, then yes, it will take a long time. So the only way you could get ahead on best practice is if you outspend another company of a similar size on best practice. So if you
that
do
doesn't
more
sound
best
fun.
practice than the other company, then you'll get ahead of that company. But then that takes a long time.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think that's also the problem with some of the tools that are out there. You mentioned SEMrush. Great tool, but the thing is that everybody else is looking at that same data, and the other
Exactly.
tools have pretty much the same data. And
Yeah.
if we're all trying to optimize for the same keywords in the same way, then are we really getting anywhere?
Not really. No.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe that's why it takes a long time and costs a lot.
Exactly. And the other thing is I've seen examples online where now a lot of thought leader SEO experts are now advocating to use tools like DeepSeek or your LLM in deep search mode or deep thinking mode. But then don't your competitors have access to the same tools? So
Of course.
what advantage is there? There is none.
Yeah.
And that just using the outputs of AI to inform your content or the basis of your content is flawed, because it's like trying to look. You wouldn't rehydrate by drinking your own sweat. So why would an AI model? Seriously,
That's a great mental image right there, and I think it's
yeah,
very true. I
I
know where
know.
you go. I love this. Keep going. This is awesome.
So why would an AI model want to recommend your content, which is just the byproduct of its existence, right? It's or the main product of its existence. It's got no value because the value you're trying to inject into your content is secondhand. It has no value. It's
Yeah.
got no new information to re-inject and retrain or update the training data for the model to get smarter. You're not making it smarter by using the outputs of an LLM to create content.
That's like I said, that really is a great mental image, and I think that's a lot of times what we're doing is we're trying to rehydrate. We're trying to put some life back in the business, and
Mm,
we're taking that old recycled stuff and sticking it out there and thinking that this is gonna help,
yes.
and it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. No, and I mean, I think the other thing to unlearn is SEO has got away, the industry has got away with a lot of low effort content, right? So it was a case of out doing more best practice than your competitors. If you were doing best practice and your competitors were lazy, then you'd get ahead. If your competitors weren't lazy and they were doing best practice, you just had to do more of it and try and do it better. But again, this is brute force. It's not smart, so to speak. So there's nothing clever. There's no kind of revolution. There's no step change or significant shift towards overcoming a better funded competitor.
Right, right. I know I've heard a number of people say that SEO is dead, and now the new thing, the new shiny object is AIO. So it's AI optimization. So you're part of that. That kind of the summary at the beginning. You're sourced on that. Is that true? You think SEO is dead? AIO is the new thing.
I, I,
And what's your take?
I think SEO as we know it is dead, but I wouldn't say it's completely dead. There is still SEO is becoming a bit like what email marketing or banner advertising has become. It's relegated in status. You still need basic SEO anyway, just as you're not
Sure.
going to stop sending emails just because it's not the hot new thing anymore. You're still going to optimize your website so AI can understand it. But that is, if you're still in SEO and you don't know how to get ahead in AI search, then you're gonna be seen as a cost rather than a profit center individual. So that's how I see it. I think SEO as we know it is definitely dead. And the other thing to comment is that if you're going to get ahead in AI, you need new skills and you need new tools, and it's definitely a whole different ball game. It's not enough to try and restructure your content and make your sentences more efficient so that AI uses less tokens to pass the meaning from that. That's just not enough. That's really just housekeeping stuff. The real shine is the information gain you inject into your content by using proprietary data trained on active discussions online.
I like that. It seems like a lot of companies for a while were really writing more for bots than for human consumption, and that
Mm.
seems to have changed a little bit. So less keyword stuffing, more value in the content. Do you see the trend continuing, or now that we
Yeah,
have AI to write stuff, is AI writing for AI now?
not if they want to succeed in AI search. Maybe in your LinkedIn posts, because obviously it doesn't really matter as much, although that could change because
Yeah,
I'm sure people at LinkedIn HQ may be getting a little bit nervous if they're seeing a lot more content being AI written.
right.
Whereas I'm perhaps in this sense, I'm a bit old fashioned that we see that AI tends to produce a lot of fluff when writing content. I'm of
Yes.
the believer, and I'm not an amazing writer, but I'm a big believer that every sentence you write, every word in your sentence should be fighting for its life in order to be in the copy,
Mm.
right? So I don't think AI can help you overcome the writer's block, but it's not going to be the final product. And when it comes to AI search, the shine or the juice is going to be in the quality of your data to tell the world something new and help your target buyers make a better decision or enrich their lives in some form.
Yeah. I think that's a really good approach. I think it was Mark Twain. I would have written a shorter letter, but I didn't have time. Maybe it was I didn't something along those lines. Yeah, didn't have time to write you a short letter, so I wrote you a long one. Maybe.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
because it does. Editing takes time, and to really get ideas distilled down and to the essence, and really make it short and valuable. Especially time is certainly a precious commodity, even more today. As busy as we are, and as much stuff as we try and pack in, making something that's efficient and powerful and quick and gets to the essence is important.
Yeah, very much. I think, you know what they say, pay cheap, pay twice.
Mm.
So it's one thing, it's learning how to, the appropriate use cases for AI. Can AI summarize documents? Yeah, great. Absolutely. Can AI make better sense of data? Yes, absolutely. Should we be using AI to write content? No. Should we be using AI to produce research from AI outputs as the basis for our content? Most definitely not. So, unfortunately, there are alternatives, of course. For example, you could go to a Gallup, for example, do some consumer research, and then use that for your SaaS content. But then again, how much will that cost you? Can you scale that? No, you can't.
Right.
Unless you're Gartner and you got a whole bank of writers at your call,
Right.
then fine. But how many of us in this audience are Gartner?
Probably none of us.
Probably, I don't know. I'm sure one of them might be, but
Yeah, it
that's
could
not all of
be.
us.
Could be. One of the things that you talked about was just the company size and mid-market clients fearing disruptive growth. How do you de-risk the innovation for them?
For small companies,
Mid-market companies in
or for
particular,
mid-market
but yeah, it
companies,
could be small as well.
I in terms of de-risk, what we do in our content research process to make sure our content passes the fact-checking algorithms of AI is we maximize the confidence interval while minimizing the margin of error, so that
Mm,
when AI is passing the content, it can correlate very highly to its own worldview and its own models as to what it believes is true about a given subject or topic. Now, that's how we de-risk content for any client of any size company. Now, I think with mid-sized companies, it's just like SEO was 23, 25 years ago when I started. All of the mid-market size firms to enterprise size were very asleep to the opportunities of SEO. SEO was just given to the website designer, the web developer, or programmer as it was known then, and they weren't that much more knowledgeable than the chief marketing officer. And now, and we've all seen since then what SEO can do for a business, and I'm seeing that right now with AI. Again, mid-market size firms, they haven't quite woken up to it, but we know they will because they've already seen what SEO can do. And once they wake up to it, it's going to unfortunately foreshorten the window for small companies, startups, scale ups from taking advantage of the short window of opportunity we have now. That is the Wild West of AI search compared to what it was 25 years ago. The time to act is now. Now, that's not to say if you don't act now, you can't get into the game. Of course you can. But like SEO over the past 25 years, it's just going to get a lot more expensive for you.
right. Yeah, now is definitely the time. I think we've got maybe a 12 to 18-month window to really have a big opportunity. And then it's probably even shorter than that. AI is
Yeah.
moving so fast.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, it's going to continue to get much more expensive and much more difficult.
Yes, absolutely.
What if a leadership book and a Netflix drama had a baby? That is The captain's keys, storms, emotional wreckage, and a surprisingly practical leadership system that one CEO called the owner's manual and never got for 20 years of leadership. Here is the brutal truth. You're probably drowning in LinkedIn connections while starving for real relationships. I hear it all the time. Most leaders are exhausted from playing the lone hero, and it's killing both your results and your sanity. The Captain's Keys reveals a new leadership framework, the stability matrix, four specific relationships that prevent burnout while multiplying your impact. And this isn't just theory. It's a system that I've used to scale companies and taught over 1,000 executive leaders. So grab your copy today at thecaptainskeys.com, Amazon, or choose your own adventure, print, ebook, or audio. Stop drowning alone and build your stability matrix.
The one thing I would say is that I think one of the disadvantages, I think as a result, we're going to see a lot of tools. Obviously, our tool is proprietary, but you're going to see some audience research tools spring up in the next few years to answer the challenge, answer the call of marketers to come up with a way of generating audience insights that correlate with AI models to produce valuable content. And they're going to be charging a premium for it. And that's a good thing. Why should we be producing low effort, low value SEO content that nobody would talk about? Whereas AI is doing the whole world a really big favor and doing marketers a favor. They may not see it now because they don't quite know what to do. But actually, if you think about it, if you have yellow pages for an entire state in the US, and then it's almost like AI has come along and said, no, now you have to have yellow pages for each individual county. It makes a lot more sense, right? Why
Right.
should one article satisfy the needs of the entire world on ransomware recovery, for example? Shouldn't an article be bespoke to the region? Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Or not only the region, but also the market sector for ransomware recovery. Maybe ransomware is different for e-commerce companies versus SaaS companies, for example. So if anything, it's multiply the opportunity. It's just going to cost a little bit more. Before you could get away with one guide that fitted the whole world. Now you might have to produce 10 times as many guides to cover the 10 regional markets your SaaS platform services.
Makes sense.
So I personally
Yeah.
see opportunity. I don't see destruction. I'm not scared by AI. I'm incredibly excited. Obviously, part of that excitement is that we know what we're doing, but also if we just forget about that for a second, I'm also thinking about how much more demand for marketing services it's actually going to create for writers, data researchers, and all that kind of thing.
Right. And that's the one thing that I think a lot of people say is just going to disappear, and I just don't see it because it's really it is reinventing things. It's coming up with new ways to see the world, new things to say, new perspectives.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Look, the in the 70s, not that I was alive then, but in the 70s, it was feared that IT would destroy jobs. But as
Right.
we've seen, it's done the complete opposite. It's actually created millions of jobs, hundreds of
Right.
millions of jobs, right, worldwide. So actually, I believe AI is going to do the same for marketers and marketing services. It's just that people don't quite understand. Now, I've had the advantage of perhaps seeing it a bit earlier because I built my first GPT in 2020 when GPT-2 came out. Now, obviously, it wasn't as sophisticated as GPT-2
Right.
at the time, but because I've seen the limitations, but also the capabilities of what a GPT can do, um, it gave me a really early heads up of what it will take to succeed in the AI search era. And so the 10 blue links mindset of SEO of trying to reverse engineer the AI search results, it's just not going to work in the AI search era.
I think you're exactly right. What was the hardest part about building Ardios? Was it the tech and putting that together because it was early? Is it the team? Is it the messaging, just trying to explain to the world what it is you're doing?
Being quite data science driven, I would say the real challenge was marketing and trying to, yeah, believe it or not. I think marketing at the C-suite, I saw some interesting stats that showed that CMOs had the second shortest tenure of any C-suite role.
Yes.
And I think that's terrible. I think, if anything, it needs to be one of the longest, because if you don't know your market, you don't have a business. You don't understand how to make the best products. You don't understand your customers. You don't understand their needs. You don't understand how you're going to tell the world and how you're better and why people should buy off you. Like, how are CMOs so undervalued? To answer your question, this was my biggest struggle, actually. The challenge is, and I'm still undergoing that struggle, and I'm working with a really cool behavioral neuroscientist, linguist, to help us work with the positioning and the messaging, because I'm not an expert, but most marketers probably, if most companies, rather, I should say companies rather than marketers, most companies and their business leaders, they lead in with what they do and the features and everything, but they're
Right.
not leading in with belief, right? Because we've seen how over the last 20 years, marketing has changed. If you were in a niche, you cleaned up because most people don't want a niche. But now everybody's wised up, and now everybody's in a niche. So when you're in a crowded niche, how do you get ahead? What I've learned is that the way to get ahead is to have something worth saying and something valuable worth saying. Because if you've got something valuable, you no longer have competitors. If anything, you're disqualifying people from working with you if they're not a good fit. And it's fine, because you might find your competitor is a better fit for them, and you can have competitors, friends, because if they don't work for us, they may be a better fit for you, and that's fine. Everybody can be friends, and everybody can
Right.
make money.
I like that attitude. Well, let's talk about leadership. Yeah. How do you lead a team that blends data science, marketing, and customer strategy?
With a lot of automation.
I love that answer. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Tell me
well,
more.
we're gluing processes, and the reason why we're doing that is we want to automate all the jobs that are repetitive and require a summary of information. And so by having all that automation, it means that all of the colleagues that are in our teams, they are more paid to respond to the data and get creative with what they're doing, rather than having to, I would imagine 90% of a lot of people's tasks are spent copy pasting from one application to another. But you could get rid of all of that. And if people are spending less time reporting, for example, and more time responding to the numbers that they see and coming up with creative solutions, as humans, we're built to create. We're not built to do what computers can do easily in their sleep, right? So it increases job satisfaction, and that is how we get our teams a lot more engaged.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, absolutely. Culture wise, how do you instill curiosity and risk taking? When clients often prefer safe but slow over smart and bold, and you're really pushing them toward the smart and bold, but they want to hold back.
We're seeing that kind of cultural thinking with mid-market sized firms and larger. And I don't think I really need to, for a start, I never sell or market to convince. That's not my job. My job is to find out if we're a good fit, see what you're seeing, share what we're seeing, and share how we can help those that do fit, how we can help those companies. We're not here to convince. So I think the way SEO is going, the way traditional search and SEO is going, AI is doing our job for us, because if you're seeing your traffic dry up and you're seeing all your leads and revenue dry up, we don't have to convince you. AI
Hmm.
is doing the convincing for you.
Right.
It more becomes a question of, do you believe what we believe? Because we tend to buy from people that we see in ourselves. So
Yes.
if we see like kind, then we're going to feel safe. All of our decision making is driven by the amygdala, what's known as the reptilian brain. If we feel safe with someone we're talking to, a potential vendor or partner, and we feel safe and we feel they will actually help us thrive, then we'll buy off them. And that
Yeah.
for me comes from a set of shared beliefs, either in your copy or in a sales call. So no convincing required. If you have to convince, chances are you're probably better off doing both of you a favor and recommending them to a competitor, and everybody can be friends.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of resistance in that market, whether it be mid-market or enterprise, and just they know that they should be doing something with AI, but they're not really sure what or how to implement it?
Oh, 100%. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I've met a lot of resistance. They're not quite convinced, or it's just so new to them that they don't even have an opinion. It's just they can't quite get their head around it. They can't
right,
quite comprehend what's going on. The approach is just so alien to what they're used to. And again, the problem with the SEO industry right now is the best practice is AI is just an extension of SEO. It's just another sub channel of search, and it's just business as usual. But unfortunately, it's not business as usual. No amount of restructuring your content or using DeepSeek or deep mode LLM research is going to save your AI search strategy. Uh,
right.
you can't take a bicycle to a NASCAR or Formula One race. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, that's so good. You have just great mental pictures, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
It does remind me, like the beginning of the internet, of people, oh, this thing's just a fad, or I see it's useful for home use or chatting online, but this will never take off in business.
So I used to waiter in my parents' restaurants many years ago, and I remember, I think it was like 1997, and I remember one of our regular customers in the restaurant was saying, "Amazon, nah, it will never take off."
Yeah, who's going to buy books online? Who's going to
Exactly,
buy anything online?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's priceless, really.
yeah. It turns out we all do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. What's your take on the state of content marketing today, and maybe high effort content is beating out the high volume fluff? And do you see that continuing, or is AI going to start catching up and start creating more, maybe lower effort, high volume, high value? Or is humans always beat AI?
I think augmented AI augmented humans will always be AI, and they will
I love
always
that.
be other humans who are not
Yeah,
augmented by AI. So it's not AI written content, no. AI augmented human content, absolutely, and that's what's going to win. I frequently remind and encourage my daughter to practice her Python for software engineering, not necessarily to pursue a career in data science, but I believe the person who who benefits from or owns intelligent machines is going to thrive over those who don't. And
yeah,
therefore, if you don't, you're going to be a victim of AI rather than the master of AI. So
yeah,
she needs to decide, and we need to decide. I think at the moment, I've just one of my clients mentioned that he is seeing competitors copy what we're doing in terms of high effort content. Now the thing is that when if you knew firsthand how one content marketing campaign, one high effort content marketing campaign outperformed say 100 standard SEO content marketing campaigns, then you would drop. Would you rather have 100 no follow uh, blog comment backlinks, or would you rather have one quality backlink from the New York Post or the New York Times, depending on which one you like to read? Yeah, I
yeah,
think we all know the answer, don't we? Even if
of
it's
course.
one of those links or one Huffington Post link versus 1,000 or 100,000 backlinks that you couldn't care whether they existed or not. I know what I'd choose.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think we're moving the same way with content marketing. Right now, it's high effort, low volume. But as what we're doing becomes best practice, it's, as we've seen with the SEO playbook, it's going to become high effort, high volume. And then this
Yeah.
is where we'll need to find the next leap. Now, a lot of people are worried about, having seen the power of LLMs, they're worried about AI overtaking humans. But actually, I'm not worried about it, because LLMs are not smart enough alone to get us to generalized AI, artificial intelligence. The next leap in AI is cognitive AI, right? Where we have symbolic knowledge-based learning. So that's what I'm preparing for. Once what we're doing becomes best practice, I'm looking for the next leap.
Yeah. And I think it's smart. It's like your example and your daughter learning Python. And it's really understanding, even if AI is generating code, understanding, is it good? Does it do what I need it to do? And just understanding the flow. It's like none of us are probably going to sit around and do long division on paper, but understanding the concept is really important to know if we got the right outcome or not. Does that look about right? Is this and I think it's the same kind of thing with LLM. Sometimes the output is pretty good. Sometimes the output is not great, but there's ideas in there when you can pick and choose and say, okay, I want to use this headline, I want to use this subheadline, and we're going to change these three words, and then I've got a new idea. Or hey, that's really good, not for this, but for something else.
Yeah.
So connecting the dots but that human in the loop is so important to create that quality and just spur the ideas on.
Yeah, I think it's very quick and easy for us all to forget that the ultimate AI are our individual brains. Our brains are based on 2 million 2 million years of existence. So you could think of an AI as a bit like a baby born without an operating system, right? A baby has already got pre-trained data from previous generations of whether a cat or a dog is threatening and things like that. Even though it hasn't been taught formally what's threatening and what's not threatening, it's already got preloaded software that obviously gets developed through parental and formal education. But neural networks are a bit like that baby that don't have that 2 million years of learning. So that's why we've got to, if we're trying to train it to know the difference between a cat and a dog, we have to show it at least 100,000 pictures of each. And so it can actually work out the difference, even though it may not know one's called a dog, one called a cat, unless you tell it.
That's good. What do you think the future of organic growth looks like in the age of AI, especially for underdog brands who are trying to punch up and really get in front of their audience when there are companies out there that are bigger and have more money to throw at the problem?
I think the future will look pretty much what we see with SEO. A lot of companies that are spending money on SEO, if they're competing on a national level, or dare I say state level, they're likely to be companies that are spending significant amounts, say $1,000 or $2,000 per month, for example, with an agency provider. So if we think about what AI search is going to look like in 10 years' time, it's probably what's going to look like now for SEO, but it's just replace the SEO with AI search. Your local businesses, unless they got in now and they want to become a national brand, you're going to get a few of them that do that. But most of them, by and large, are probably going to pay us, are going to aspire at most for local, being seen locally, and making sure that AI recommends, if there's a best florist near me, then they'll do some basic optimization to make sure that they actually show up and AI knows that they exist.
Oh, so good. Andres, where can people learn more about you and about Artios online?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm on LinkedIn, and also there's my website, Artios, artios.io. I I regularly write and I produce content. My LinkedIn is regularly updated, or you can find me on a great podcast like SaaS Fuel.
Outstanding. We'll make sure and link all of that in the show notes.
Thank you.
And Andreas, it's been such a pleasure having you on SaaS Fuel. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. And I'll be sure to read at least one of your books.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Dre, for coming on the show and sharing your journey and insights. You can learn more about Dre and Atheos at artios.io. As always, all links, highlights, resources, and full show notes are available at saasfuel.com. And be sure to check us out on YouTube as well. It's at Champion Leadership is our channel. We have full video episodes, training, outtakes, shorts, lots of resources over there for you on YouTube. And thought leaders share. That's how the show grows, is thought leaders like you sharing with other people. How about share this episode with another founder navigating inflection points? It's the kind of insight that brings focus to chaos. And everyone who shares this week gets hustle infused socks. They auto tighten when you feel doubt and play Lizzo when you hit KPI milestones. How do you close high stakes deals in just one conversation without the hard sell? Our next guest, Ari Galper, has the answer. Ari is the creator of Unlock the Sales Game and the revolutionary one call sale method. His approach? Replace pressure and persuasion with empathy and authority. Ari has coached thousands of leaders and sales professionals to stop chasing and start connecting. Then our founder 1 week from today is Jali Nanda, with a background spanning startups and global enterprises, and now founder of Vicrity. Jolly merges technology operations and human behavior into a unique change management strategy. She's helped brands like Zappos and Optum not just adopt new systems, but live them out. So good. Recognized by HR Tech as a top change management leader, Jolly brings an operator's mind and an innovator's heart to the challenge of making transformation stick. I will see you next time, and as always, enjoy the journey.
Thanks for listening to SaaS Fuel. Full show notes for each episode, which includes a summary, key takeaways, quotes, and any resources mentioned, are available at saasfuel.com. Be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're enjoying the content and getting value from these episodes, please leave us a rating and review at ratethispodcast.com/saasfuel. We'll be sure to read these out on future episodes.